All the gods of destruction gather in one place, something that hasn't happened since the Tournament of Power. Only this time, it's not by Xeno's will, nor by an event of the angels, but by fear. A fear that is spreading among the deities of all universes, fear of Black Frieza. Since the Emperor returned, with a power beyond mortal comprehension, the balance of the universes has begun to crumble. But it's not just his brute strength that worries the gods. It's what he discovered. Frieza has discovered the darkest secret about the deities of destruction, the vital connection between them and the Supreme Kais. If a Supreme Kai dies, the god of destruction of the same universe also disappears. It's a link of life and death. And now, this secret is in the hands of one of the most cruel and vengeful beings in all of existence. The news spread like wildfire among the angels and the gods. Black Frieza had already killed 2 already weakened gods, not for fun, but as a test. He discovered that all he had to do was eliminate Supreme Kai to completely erase the god of destruction. Thus, no Hakai would be necessary. No resistance. No fighting. Just the eternal silence of the gods who believed themselves immortal. At this, Whis, Vados, and the other angels began to worry. Cosmic laws never anticipated that a mortal could discover something like this. And that was when chaos began. A call echoed through the dimensions, a request for a meeting between all the gods of destruction, something so rare that not even the angels knew what to expect. The meeting was scheduled on a neutral plane, where no universe prevails. There they were, Beerus, the destroyer of the 7th universe, Quitella, the cunning rodent of the 4th, Sidra, of the 9th, Belmod, of the 11th, and all the others, each bringing their own tension and fear. But it was Quitella, with his mocking smile and calculating gaze, who spoke first. He had always hated Beerus, his historic rival, and saw this moment as a perfect opportunity to eliminate him once and for all. Quitella was blunt: if Black Frieza threatens all the universes, it's the 7th's fault. That's where he was born, that's where he evolved, and that's where he is now. If Xeno finds out about this, he will destroy the entire universe before the evil spreads. And then, the problem would be solved. His words were like poison in the air. Sidra, bitter since the Tournament of Power, where he was humiliated and defeated, agreed instantly. For him, destroying the 7th universe would be justice. A necessary price to ensure the safety of the others. But not everyone thought so. Belmod, the clown god, warned that Xeno wouldn't see this simply as punishment, but as a sign of weakness. If the gods confessed their fear of a mortal, the Omni King himself might lose trust in them and decide to erase all the universes again. The atmosphere grew tense. The divine energy in the room was suffocating. Some banged the table, others crossed their arms in silence. The gods' pride prevented them from admitting their fear, but they all knew none of them could face Black Frieza and come out alive. It was then that Rumshi, the elephant god, suggested something even bolder, uniting the power of all the gods of destruction in a coordinated attack. A collective energy capable of erasing any being, even a mortal who had overcome their superior instinct. The idea sounded good, but there was a problem. For it to work, everyone would need to trust each other. And, let's face it, the gods have never exactly been cooperative. As they argued, Beerus remained silent, but Whis, watching from afar, knew that the destroyer of the 7th universe carried something more than fear. He carried responsibility. After all, it was his universe that gave birth to the monster that now terrorized existence. Quitella then launched into another verbal attack. If Beerus doesn't have the courage to face his own mistake, let Xeno solve the problem for him. And that's when Beerus stood up. With a cold, deadly energy, he declared that if anyone dared interfere in his universe, he would administer the Hakai himself. Beerus's look made even Sidra swallow hard. But the collective fear was real. Everyone knew they couldn't resist alone, so Kampa, the destroyer of the 6th universe and Beerus's twin brother, proposed a deal. Each universe would create a layer of divine protection around their supreme KO lords, isolating them in secret dimensions. That way, Black Frieza would never find them. The proposal pleased most. But Quitella still wasn't satisfied. He wanted to see the 7th universe burn and decided to operate in the shadows. After the meeting, he sent telepathic messages to Sidra and Lakir, convincing them that Beerus would be unable to contain Frieza and that the only way out was to report the 7th universe directly to Xeno. This betrayal began to take shape. While Whis and Beerus prepared for a possible confrontation with Frieza, a conspiracy was being woven behind their backs. The gods themselves, once united by balance, were about to start a divine Cold War. And this is where the biggest question arises. What if Xeno really is informed about Black Frieza? Xeno doesn't distinguish between good and evil. For him, the mere existence of something that threatens order is reason enough to erase everything. In other words, if Quitella and Sidra carry out this denunciation, the 7th universe along with Goku, Vegeta, and everyone we know may simply cease to exist. Whis knows this, and so, he decides to act. While the gods divide, Whis tries to find the Daishinkan to request a direct audience with Zeno, trying to prevent the case from reaching the king before Goku has a chance to react. But the Daishinkan already knew everything, and his response is even more frightening. Perhaps it's time to test the limits of mortal evolution. In other words, the Daishinkan himself may be allowing Black Frieza to run wild, simply to see how far mortal power can go. This theory leads us to an intriguing conclusion. While the gods fight among themselves, while fear corrodes the divine hierarchy, Frieza grows stronger, and perhaps the true purpose of all this is to force Goku and Vegeta to break the final limits of their existence. In the end, Universe 7 is in danger not only because of Frieza, but because of the gods themselves. Their arrogance and fear could seal everyone's fate. And if Quitella truly manages to convince Zeno, perhaps we are about to witness the end of Universe 7 and the birth of a new era, where mortals replace the gods. If you want to see the continuation of this story, leave a like, which is very important, and comment with the hashtag part 2. Thanks, and see you next time.